My name's Ian Whitney. I've got a T6 spinal cord injury sustained from a mugging in Tenerife. I've been in the army for over 20 years as a helicopter engineer. I currently live in Hartlepool with my 18-year-old daughter.
Hi Ian, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm really great, thanks. I wonder if you could tell me a bit about yourself, maybe something about your army career and your family?
I've been in the army since I was 16. I'm still serving at the moment. They've been in charge of my rehabilitation since my injury. I've done 4 tours of Afghanistan and some stuff in Northern Ireland and been on exercise all over the world. I'm a father of 2, a daughter of 18 and a son of 11. My daughter lives with me and my son I see regularly whenever I can. He lives in the same town as me.
And tell me about the things that you do for fun. What kind of activities do you get up to?
It's been quite limited at the moment due to I've had an open wound on my bum, which has stopped me sitting in my chair for too long. Before that, I was doing triathlon for my own benefit, so swimming, hand cycling and racing wheelchair stuff. I still get on with the racing wheelchair and other fitness stuff now. I still try and keep myself busy with DIY and that sort of stuff. That being an engineer, I'm a helicopter engineer from the army, and I'm trying to resettle because I'm getting discharged from the army. So I'm doing lots of work experience at a local college to get a job in. So I want to become a college instructor. I already got engineering degrees, and qualified engineering wise, I've got a very basic teaching qualification from the army, which is enough to start me at a college with over 16s, and then they'll top me up to the level 5 Cert Ed that they want me to have.
Okay, excellent. So how far on are you with that?
I haven't started yet until I'm employed by them. It's kind of a on-the-job training.
All right, I see. So the kind of sports stuff, has that always been part of your world? I mean, not just because you were in the army, but for pleasure as well?
Yeah, while the army obviously encourage fitness, it's their big thing. So I've always been into running, fitness as a whole, but I used to play ice hockey to a high level. I played and represented the army, and I got the privilege of once representing the combined service, which is the Army, Navy and Air Force, the best of the 3 services. So sport's always been a big part of my life. If not, I've been playing rugby or football and things like that.
Yeah. So in terms of determination, would you say you're quite a determined person?
Yeah, very determined. I don't think I've ever let myself fail at anything.
Yeah. And is that kind of part of your identity as well, the sports stuff? I mean, I know that being in the army it becomes part of you, doesn't it, in the army family?
The army encourage teamwork, so sport is obviously they pick the team sports, so it becomes part of you. You work for the team and you work hard, no matter wherever you are, whatever you're doing. You're a big family, you're a big team. So yeah, it is part of the identity, which is why I've chosen to go into a college, because I could do other avenues of engineering which are quite isolated, because it's auditing and going around and telling people they're wrong or they're not doing this right. But you're isolated, and I don't want to be working alone. I don't like the idea of that. I want to be part of a team and give something back to other people. That's why I've chosen to become a college instructor. Yeah.
And so as part of your role in the army, would you have been working with other younger soldiers?
Yeah, the rank I got to a fairly high rank. So what would everyone know as a sergeant major. So I had my last unit in Northern Ireland, I had 55 junior soldiers under my command that I'd have to mentor, coach, teach, write appraisals for, everything like that.
Yeah, so it's not that alien to you, it's still holding on to part of who you have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so in terms of other changes of role, how do you view the future? What are your ambitions for the future, beyond getting that job?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it too much, because it's a big transition when all I've known is the army to then go into a civilian job. There's going to be nuances in that, but I think one of the reasons I haven't thought about it either is I've moved to this town where I live, and I'm not originally from here, just because my children are here. So the idea of getting a job at a college and places is actually to meet people and develop my own social group so that I can get involved in park run or even just going out to watch the football with a few people. Just that sort of develop my own friends, because the friends I did have were my ex-wife's friends' husbands, and that all sort of, that network's gone.
So it's kind of establishing yourself in the community as well as finding a new job, a new role, a completely new life, really.
Yep.
So are you in a relationship at the moment, Ian?
Yeah. I've just started one.
Okay. But I know that in the past you've certainly done some online dating, is that right?
Yeah, I looked for online dating very early on. I wanted to challenge myself because I think when I first became injured, I'd been online dating. I separated from my wife 6 months before my injury, and I tried online dating in that period, and it is a very vanity-based process because you are putting pictures of yourself to attract someone. It is very vanity-based, and I didn't think that anyone would really want to look at a guy with some serious problems. So I did struggle, but then I thought I'll challenge this and see what it's like. And I challenged it, and there was some good stuff, but there was some really bad stuff as well. I think you just got to warn yourself. You just got to be prepared that there are some people that are very narrow-minded and they don't want to learn about someone's disability. They've got their preconceptions, and you'll never change their mind. And it hurts because then you are narrowing your field of search, but that's life. You can't change people. They don't want to be changed. Some of the responses I got were absolutely disgusting.
Have you got any advice for other people that might be considering that?
Be honest. Don't hide it. You've got to take the rough with the smooth. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and that's their choice. But they're not seeing the real value in people anyway, because it is a vanity-based process normally. I'd say be honest. Try and put a bit of humour so people know that you are okay with what's happened, or why you're in a chair, or why that's happening. Because I think that's one way of people seeing that you're okay. You've come to terms with what's happened. I think what would scare some potential partners off is that they're coming into this and they've got to support you, which I think that's a big ask. If you've already put some of that to bed and can put a bit of humour, like I put on my profile, like nickname of Hot Wheels or priority parking offered. So just something silly, but enough to get a little bit of a giggle, and I'm assuming that's what would, you go, oh right, he's okay with this. He's not a depressed person that needs me to come in and support him.
Yes, I understand. So in terms of particularly difficult exchanges with online dating, is there anything that you could say about that?
These ladies were very brave behind a keyboard. They weren't very brave for an exchange of, well, hang on a minute. Like a few of them, not just one, like there's about 5 or 6 put, I don't want to be your carer. But then they'd block me, so I wouldn't then be able to go in and say, I don't need a carer, I'm fully independent, I don't know what you're on about.
Yeah.
They block me, so I wouldn't be able to reply. So you can't then get involved in the to and fro of it. So that's where you just got to put that to bed and go, yep, that one didn't work.
Yeah, okay. So in terms of parenting, Ian, do you think very much has changed for you as a parent?
The physical aspects of how I parent have changed, but the mental stuff hasn't changed. Still got to be there, still got to teach, still got to show, guide, mentor, whatever the words are the buzzwords at this time, doesn't change. I live with my daughter. She's an 18-year-old girl. She doesn't help me around the house, but she still needs me to tell her to guide her. The same as during this lockdown period, my son's been here for homeschooling for the 4 or 5 months of when he's needed it.
Yeah.
And we've done other things. So we've taken sheds down. We've repaired a BMX. He bought his BMX round. We resprayed it. We stripped it down. I showed him how to fix that. We fix his scooter. So your responsibility as a dad, I don't believe changes. The physical, how you physically do it. Like, I'm not going to kick a ball for him, but what I can do is throw a ball and he can pretend to be in goal and we can still do something.
Yeah.
If you put a complete block up, then I think that's where you're going to struggle. You just got to think about ways of doing stuff with them. And they need to see that you're okay as well. The same as this online dating. They need to know that they're not here for you. You're still their dad. They still can depend on you.
Yeah. You're still the grown-up.
Yeah, you've still got the control, the power, the guidance, the wisdom, all those sort of words.
Yeah. So what would you say to somebody else who was in a similar situation to you, having to change their future and adapt to this situation?
The one thing I'll say is try not to shy away from making decisions. Make a decision. It's okay to fail and readjust. So make decisions on big things like what you're going to do, housing, that sort of stuff. Just get those out early as best you can, and things then start falling, like the normality starts to come. Try and make your environment as normal as you can make it, and be as independent as you can be, to show that you are still strong.
Yeah.
You're still strong. You're still whoever you are. I'm not saying it's easy, because there's still days where I don't want to do half of the stuff, and there's still days I have accidents and I feel like an absolute toddler in front of them. But you got to pick yourself up and dust yourself down and move on. The kids are more robust than you believe they might be, and they need to see. That's my personal opinion. They need to see you do all right out of this.
Can I just talk to you a little bit about continence? I imagine that was what you were referring to with regard to accidents. How much does the continence aspect of spinal injury impact you as a sexual being?
I don't suffer that badly with continence, either number one or two. But some days there are some accidents, and again, sleeping next to someone, you have to. Unfortunately, that's part and parcel of it, and it is embarrassing, and there's no way around it. But again, I think the way I found it is that the person I was with, when I had an accident, they just wanted to help. They weren't worried about the embarrassment. If you carry the embarrassment on and go, "Oh, I'm really sorry," that makes them feel worse. And actually, they just want you to be all right. They probably understand. If they're sleeping in the bed with you, they understand that could happen. You don't want to then turn it into a worse situation where, because you're angry and embarrassed, you make them. It then becomes a worse situation than it is. It is a bad situation. But then also trying to know. Someone told me about when you first got injured that your body's still sending you messages. You just got to learn to read your body in a different way now.
Yeah.
So things like, if I've got a UTI, for instance, I'll wear a convene for the bed. And yes, that can be slightly embarrassing that there's a bag hanging out the bed. But it means that the person I'm sleeping with, if there is anyone, or even if I'm on my own, I haven't got to get up in the middle of the night and change the bed. So it's kind of weighing it up in that sense. Do I want to be embarrassed by having an accident, or do I want a little bit of embarrassment by putting something else on? So it's just the balanced scales of where you want to be. So I think that's what I try to weigh up in my head. So if I've got a UTI, I wear a convene.
Yeah. And would you normally, let's think about if you were expecting to have sex tonight, is there a routine to that where you have to deal with your continence so that you know it's not in your head?
Bowel wise, no. I'm touch wood. I've got my routine down. It's once a day, and it's only if there's a food poisoning or upset stomach kind of issue that's when something at night might happen.
Yeah.
But no, I just have a. But I think I'd have done that before the injury. I'd have gone for a wee before that anyway. So I kind of deal with it that way. I know that I'm very lucky as a spinal cord injury patient to have a bowel that functions okay, or as I can regularly sort myself, like I know what's going on.
Yeah, and with your bladder, do you use ISC at all, or do you just pee naturally?
ISC.
Yeah, always ISC.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is that been an issue in terms of frequent UTIs, or is it just an occasional thing?
Probably 5 or 6 a year.
Okay. Can we talk about your erections?
Can do, yeah.
I know that you have some sensation. So is there, do you need extra help to get an erection, and can you feel it when you use it?
I sometimes can get an erection without help, but I do take tablets to help to maintain it. It will go up and down. If I don't, it'll just go up and it'll just come down straight away. And the tablets can be hit and miss as well. And I've started using injections to maintain stuff, but I still haven't got the dosage right on what I need. But while it's erect, I do feel pressure of something around my penis.
And what do you think about the injection therapy? Is that something that you really, you really like? It works for you and it's fine, or are there complications?
I've not had any complications with it, and I think it works fine. The problem is that you can't get them. They're very hard to come by. So you only get issued like 4. So you have to plan everything, which is hard to do with a partner, to say, can we have sex now? Because I'll go and sort this out.
Yeah. So the spontaneity goes and you feel that that's a loss, yeah?
And it can be a bit presumptuous on your partner to say, is this going to happen now? You could be kissing away and then you've got to break away to go in, right, hang on, I'll go into the med locker and I'll grab something. All right, the moment's gone.
Yeah, but equally, if you're kissing and caressing and it's going in that direction, it's pretty likely that you're going to go for a wee anyway. So I suppose that's when you use your injection. But how long does it take to take effect?
15 minutes.
Okay. So you would come back and carry on kissing and caressing, yeah, okay. Is it more likely that you will pre-plan so that you know fine well that you're going to have sex tonight?
You kind of get, I think I've got good at reading I think that's one thing the spinal cord injury does for you, is you read ladies a bit better of like, hang on, this is on the cards now, so.
Okay, so in terms of negotiating sex, have you got any advice for anybody?
I think it's just a discussion you've got to have with that partner. The same as meeting girls online and, even girls down the pub and stuff like that. Unless they come back to your house where all of your med equipment is, just getting a hotel room is not on the cards. And whether you can go back to theirs and go into their bedroom is a mystery as well, with just simple logistics like stairs to get in, and have they got a downstairs lav? So it's kind of, you have to plan, and the spontaneity does go, but you have to discuss this early on with girls that you are thinking of having sex with, about, to put them at ease as well, especially when it comes to telling them about how a spinal cord injury works. Not to bore them, but just to, what I never wanted was them to feel that I wasn't attracted to them because I didn't have something trying to burst out of my jeans.
Yeah.
One girl was very sort of unaware. She was like, well, what's wrong? You not turned on? I was like, no, I am really turned on, but my brain can't tell that this is what's happening. And she was like, oh, I don't quite get what was going on, and I had to sort of explain it to her. And then I realised from that point, you do need to sort of get these things out in the open early. Not obviously first date going, oh, by the way.
Yeah.
But definitely, if it's going that way, I think it's a hard thing to raise, but you sort of, again, with a bit of humour, and just need to be honest and open, and if it scares them off, unfortunately it scares them off, because then they're not ready for that. But you can't force someone to stay if they don't want to as well, which I think people want to hide behind something, which will cause yourself more anxiety actually
Yeah.
just getting the break early. I sound very negative, but I think it's the safest way of being.
I think it's an interesting conversation for us to have, though, because there's always that dilemma between, do you get somebody to really be super fond of you and your personality and all the rest of it, and then you make the big reveal either about your sex life or about your disability, and you're hurt because actually you've got a connection with them now, or do you do it straight up front and sort the wheat from the chaff?
I think with online dating though, you do get to know people quite quickly, because as soon as you make that connection, you it's not like you have to go on dates to know them. You pretty much, everywhere I found it is you're texting people for a good 6 hours a day. You know, there is a constant dialogue going on, so you do get to know them and you do get that connection. Again, I agree with you. So you know whether you get the feeling going, this could go somewhere. Now I'm going to raise it.
Yeah.
If it dies off within 2 days before you even met them, then you'll be going, I'm glad I didn't put myself out there to say these are my problems. So yeah, you do understand that. So that's how I found it. By the time the first date comes, you've already been talking for a week, so you already kind of know each other well enough to be confident enough to go, oh, by the way. Yes, so it's just you don't have to explain it all, but definitely I'm not going to ejaculate is one point you've got to bring out.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're lucky enough you can, brilliant, well done. If you can't, then that can make the partner feel inadequate as well. You don't want them to feel inadequate when it's not. There's no one to blame for this. There's no one's fault. But if they don't know, then they're going to be like, oh, right, didn't you enjoy that part? And you're like, well yeah, I did, but it's not you. It's completely my body that's the stumbling block here.
Yeah, and people can create their own realities, can't they?
Yeah, I had, like I was saying, there was one lady, she was very, why are you not turned on? I'm just not going to show it physically down there. But I am definitely turned on. I am 100% attracted to you. You can tell by the way I'm kissing you and holding you I am. I just not physically going to show it. When I do orgasm though, it feels great. My spasms, my muscle tone goes absolutely down to zero and it feels amazing. But it doesn't happen very often. But it has happened.
And you get a sense of sexual release.
Yeah, definitely. The raised heart rate, you sort of that euphoric sort of, it doesn't feel the same. It's nowhere near as intense as it was before, but it's a very euphoric kind of moment of, wow, that's great.
So tell me about managing relationships, Ian. Have you got any advice for people about that?
I think it's important that you try and not hide your frustrations from a partner, but don't put them on you don't put them on that person to get them off your chest, because that's putting extra stress on that person who you love and want to be with, and you want that to continue. So especially when it comes to, say, like not being able to ejaculate in a sexual environment, it can be frustrating because you want to, and if you've got the feeling like I have and you want to do it, but you can't, and if you get disappointed and then roll over and show your frustration after that experience, it's going to cause a divide and things like that. And the same with in an incontinence side of things. If you do have an accident, although it is embarrassing and it is frustrating that you're doing that, if you then go off in a mood or a huff, it's making that other person, you're not showing that other person that you are grateful that they're there for you and helping by being self-involved and rolling over and being, just leave me alone. Yeah. And I think if you get them divides wrong, if you cause those divides, then it's going to put a very big strain on a relationship that could be fragile anyway, which is because people would have gone through a lot to get to where you are, and I think that's one thing I could say is just try not to put your frustrations on that other person. Yeah,
I'm sure that's really, really valuable advice. In terms of drawing this to a close, I'm thinking the qualities that you've brought to your experience are your determination and your really clear view of where you want to go in the future, how your life's going to go with your injury, post-injury. Is there anything you'd like to say about that?
Yeah, I think the determination comes hand in hand with resilience. It's not been an easy ride to get where I'm at. I've had knocks, I've had bad days, and that resilience and determination has to go hand in hand, that you're going to pick yourself up and dust yourself off and go again. Because what else are you going to do? Just not survive or not live because you took one knock. So you've got that. That's the only thing I just want to put out there. You need the resilience and you need to keep going because it is a challenge. Daily living is a challenge with this.
Well, that's been absolutely brilliant and very refreshing talking to you, Ian. I'm really, really grateful for your openness and honesty. And thanks again. We'll see you soon.
Thank you very much for listening.